All right, so one thing we're going to go through is how to test and make sure we have good water flow. All right, if you come across a situation where it's showing no flow, the sensor doesn't look like it's moving, you're trying to figure out if there's flow or not, there's a simple way of doing it. Number one is, you can first just open the sample valve. If this sample valve, as you can see here, there's no water really coming out at all, it actually ends up sucking air. What we need to do then is we need to close this suction valve. If we close that suction valve and we see good water flow, we're looking for about a gallon per minute of water flow through there, which is what we got right there. All right, we're in good shape. If you open that center valve and nothing comes out with just this left-hand valve open, so right now, when we go ahead, we have the left valve open. We're gonna open this one. Right valve is closed. If we still have no water coming out of here, all right, we know that we may not have enough back pressure to force water into this sample vessel. We may have to potentially relocate where our influent line is installed, maybe take it from being installed in the top of the pipe, as mentioned earlier, put it into the side or maybe the bottom, if feasible, of the pipe. We may be getting a Venturi effect. Of course, also make sure your tubing is not kinked, there's no blockages, but it's very important to test, whether if it's a new installation, existing system. All right, it's always good to test to make sure you have good water flow, and the easiest way to do it, again, is just by simply opening up that center valve. If you have the dribble, barely have anything coming out, close that right-hand valve, and you're shutting off that suction, because sometimes that suction will overcome and not allow for enough water flow to come out of here. We have good water flow here. All right, we're going to shut this back down. We're going to open that valve back up so water's flowing back through, going in the left, out the right, forcing that flow switch up. Or if it was the Pro Pack, it would be forcing that pinwheel to spin in the correct direction. If that pinwheel's not spinning on the Pro Pack, it's not going to register flow. If that float switch is not floating up, it's not going to be registering flow. So it's always good to check to make sure you have flow, you have good flow. If you have very, very high flow or you see that thing shooting like crazy, you may actually have to throttle that valve on the effluent side down to slow that water down a little bit, because high velocity can sometimes cause interference with the readings of the sensors. So it's very important to make sure we confirm that we have adequate water flow through this sample vessel and make sure that flow switch is in fact registering flow. All right, so we're just going to real quick go through again how to test the water flow in the actual sample vessel. Right now we have the left valve open, the right valve open, your center valve is going to be closed. Okay, what we're going to do to confirm that we have water flow is we're going to first open up this center valve. We see very little water coming out. That's not enough water. That is very slow water flow there. So if we have this, it's oftentimes because the suction is too much and it's sucking a lot of that water down through there. So a quick thing to do is just simply close your effluent valve and you can see that water pick up. That's a good stream. That's a good flow of water. We're good to go. All right. Again, we have our influent valve open, so that's our water coming in. Our center sample valve open, and we have our right effluent valve closed. All right, we have good water flow. We're going to close it, open back up the effluent. We have the water flowing through. Again, water is going in on the left, out on the right. Works the exact same way for the professional package with the acrylic block and rotary flow sensor.